toys I was playing with. You know, we're all losers in that
Dion is an
game.
American singer and songwriter, and I apologise for the fact that from an extensive Wikipedia page about him, I am very much summarising, and I may have, I hope I don't misrepresent anything here. His name is Dion Francis DiMucci and is of Italian American parentage. His career started in 1957 as a doo-wop artist, and particularly as, not immediately, but very quickly, as Dion and the Belmonts. He joined what I believe was an existing vocal group, the Belmonts. He had some success. He joined on the Winter Dance Party tour with Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and the Big Bopper and others. Uh, Early in 1959, some of these performers decided to charter a plane to fly to their next venue, but Dion on the Belmonts declined this. That plane crashed, killing all aboard. And this is a very famous thing that happened, that Buddy Holly and Richie Valens and others died on that plane. So it was an escape for Dion on the Belmonts that they weren't on that plane. In the early 60s, he went solo, but although there were some reunions over time. In 1968, he had what's described as a powerful religious transformation. I think from the context later that this was particularly a return to his Catholic heritage, I'm guessing. He changed style in the early 70s to singer-songwriter from doo-wop. In 1979, he had another radical religious change, becoming a born-again Christian, so Protestant this time. And into the 80s, he predominantly was recording and releasing contemporary Christian music. By the end of the 80s, he went back to secular music, and in the late 90s, he went back to Catholicism. By 2000s, or in the 2000s, he then changed his style again to blues. And I understand he's mostly stuck with blues since, although he's done various things. He's been involved with people like Joe Bonamassa and all sorts of other people over the years. He released 4 albums with the Belmonts. Wikipedia lists 16 solo albums. But that isn't correct, I'm sure, because it doesn't include all the albums listed that are mentioned in the text. Hi, my name's Dan, and this is the 14th studio album solo studio album, I believe, by Dion. It might not be solo, it might have included his Belmont. Sorry about that. It's my first listen to this album. It's my first time reviewing one of his albums. I have come across some of his earlier songs, so I particularly know The Wanderer, which he was quite famous for. So I would describe this as being a singer-songwriter with a mild country feel, but with kind of some caveats on that, because I'm kind of questioning myself, why am I saying, or why am I feeling that it's country? And it's to do with the aesthetic, I think, and maybe the acoustic guitar use in here, and the pacing of it. But it doesn't have some things that really would signal it as country. So it doesn't have the typical country bass of bum 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 bum, which is 1/5 up and down. It doesn't have pedal steel guitar. It doesn't have nasal singing. And it doesn't have things like banjos and those kind of things that maybe is what really are the hallmarks of country. So maybe it's not. Acclaimed Music says Baroque pop, so I think. See, I'm not sure it is, but again, I feel like I'm just one person in the face of lots of other people who know better than me. It's probably described that because it's got a lot of strings in it, string section, and which are there, but are more subtle than they are in some music that I've heard. So they kind of support it. I didn't find that particularly objectionable about it. You'll have seen that I haven't given it a very high score. We'll get into why in a bit. Most of this, I would say, though, is singer-songwriter. It wouldn't sit. It wouldn't be out of place on a shelf next to Elton John's 70s stuff, apart from the fact that there's just not a lot of piano in here. It's more kind of guitar-based. And the voice obviously isn't Elton John's voice, but stylistically it's got some similarities to that. There is some religious stuff in here. Your Own Backyard is quite apparently a pivotal song for him, which is famously about quitting substance abuse. Make the Woman Love Me is a song that's a prayer. You can kind of understand the context of that from the title and that. He's got The Whole World in His Hands is a traditional song. The rest of them seem to be about relationships. Now, Phil Spector's involved in the production here, and sometimes um, I'm kind of surprised that I didn't like the production very much. It's overblown at times. Particularly didn't like the production on The Whole World in His Hands, which is a weird kind of single flutter echo, as if it's been recorded uh, facing a very big shiny wall, just several meters away. That's the sound back, which I feel totally ruins it. But I don't think it's a great version of the track. Anyway, I've heard much better versions of that song. For me, it's all a bit. And I then started. I write these notes out that I'm going to read from, and I got to the point of writing For me, it's a bit too dot dot dot, and then I was trying to find adjectives to describe what it is that I find I'm not liking about this. Usual, unexciting, maybe too much strings, safe, on the nose as well. It's just kind of it feels like it's in the herd. It's a pack album, and I'm not really sure why this album has been regarded so well to put it on this list. I don't actively dislike it, but I just wasn't actively particularly impressed by it either. So I don't know if it's about the context and about his kind of change from his previous styles moving into this. I don't know if it's pulling into that. I know that his Your Own Backyard was quite a well-regarded song about substance abuse. So I don't know if that is something that's pulled it in. But otherwise, I'm a bit mystified about this. So I I, I feel like a bit that this is a main character in a film that I don't feel sympathetic towards. You've probably had that experience. You're watching the film and you go, actually, I'm just not that bothered as to whether this guy succeeds or this woman succeeds or not, because I just don't feel engaged with her. And I felt a bit like that with this album, and I don't know why. I didn't really feel it grabbed me. Um, so, as always, I'd like to invite you to tell me what you think about this album. You may have been outraged by the fact that I've had a very lukewarm reaction to this. You may think this is an absolutely brilliant album. Please do set me straight. Tell me why. Tell me what it is you love about it. Or if, just tell me that you love it. Because I love hearing from people who disagree with me, especially when I'm lukewarm about an album, or, even better, when I'm scathing about an album. Or maybe you share my feeling about this. Let me know. Let's have a conversation. The next review on this channel is going to be of the album The Underside of Power by Algiers. But that's it from me for now.
He got the